Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Living with the Times. We are between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur now, and the Shabbat, there's always a Shabbat between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, is called Shabbat Shuvah, the Shabbat of return. The word Shuvah, of return, is the same root as teshuvah, as repentance. And this comes from the Haftorah. The Haftorah that we read on Shabbat Shuvah begins, Shuvah Yisrael ad Hashem. Return Israel to God. And so it's obvious that we're in the midst of the Aseret Yemei Tshuva, the 10 days of Tshuva. So this Shabbat is the type of Tshuva which is not so much for what we've done wrong and for different sins. It simply means returning to God, becoming close with God again. Along with this, we could understand that Shabbat Shuvah, the Shabbat of return, there's a certain element that we also have to change, improve, seek forgiveness for sometimes the way that we treat Shabbat or we look at Shabbat. That Am Yisrael loves Shabbat, the famous phrase, more than Israel guards the Shabbat guards Israel. Nonetheless, it's so easy to fall into rote and routine, even with something as holy and elevated and exalted as Shabbat. We keep Shabbat every week, year after year, and it's a challenge not to take it for granted and not understand the great depths that we can reach on every Shabbat. So the Slonim Rebbe makes an astounding statement. He says there may be a person who keeps every law of Shabbat meticulously, but he does Shabbat without a sense of joy, without a sense of excitement, and it's dry, we'll put it that way. So the Slonim Rebbe says, actually in a few different places, he says, this person will merit the world to come. And his very words are, but in the world to come, there'll be a park bench. Just like a park bench is inanimate and it's just there, so a person who keeps Shabbat, even meticulously, but without a sense of joy, without a sense of spirituality, will end up being a park bench in the world to come. Of course, this is a metaphor, a symbol, but the Slonim Rebbe is trying to tell us how important it is to approach each Shabbat with excitement and joy. We're told by our sages that Shabbat is 1/60th of the world to come. And the Slonim Rebbe gives us another metaphor. We might think 1/60th, it doesn't sound like very much. But he says, let's say someone, God forbid, falls off of a boat and he's flailing in the sea and the boat continues to go. And someone notices and throws him a rope and he grabs onto the rope. As long as he is holding onto the rope, he's holding on to the ship. And this is a teaching from the Baal Shem Tov, that if you hold on to a part, you hold on to the whole. So even though 1/60th doesn't sound so much, but the world to come is an infinite state of mind, is lofty beyond our comprehension. And so if we hold on to Shabbat, we're holding on to the full world to come. And I just want to end with one of the most important teachings I learned from Reb Shlomo. And he said like this. He said, there is no such thing as just another Shabbat. Every Shabbat needs to be approached and experienced as if it was the highest Shabbat ever. That is the way to go into Shabbat and to try to squeeze out of Shabbat all of the holiness, all of the spirituality, all of the divinity that there is in Shabbat. So, God willing, this Shabbat will all do a little bit of introspection and hopefully get back the full experience and the joy and excitement of Shabbat. And of course, Yom Kippur is called Shabbat Shabbaton, the Shabbat of the year. So I want to bless us all that this Yom Kippur is the highest Yom Kippur ever.